Hello viewers, it is your guy Ultrasign. It is great to have you on Gist Villa. On this episode, you are going to be mesmerized by the stuff I'm going to be showing you. Let me start from overseas events. As the United States presidential election draws near, Vice President Kamala Harris is much prepared to wrestle with Donald Trump in the widely anticipated presidential election. But why is she filled with so much enthusiasm? The answer is by no means far-fetched. Harris is quite pretty young. She's a woman with warm-hearted personality. Now what happened? I'm going to tell you something about her. To crown it all, Harris was a prosecutor for several years in California, and then she became an attorney. This simply means that Harris is a lawyer. We know how lawyers behave. They are trained to excel in debates and arguments. This is because lawyers are inclined towards strong research skills, critical thinking, understanding of logical fallacies, confidence, and persuasion. Now, beyond that, Harris seems to have a kind of special respect for the press and journalists. Last year, she had a fascinating FaceTime with a 10-year-old black journalist. In the interview, the child genius threw questions to her, such as how she had come to love politics and law, and what she felt about the apathy of some US citizens as regards the upcoming election. Here is a video.
Do you think this is the biggest interview you've done yet? Because you've done a lot.
I mean, the Vice President of the United States is kind of a big deal, so yeah. I was around 4 years old when I knew that I wanted to be a journalist. At what age did you fall in love with the law and politics?
I was very young. My parents were active in civil rights, and the heroes among the heroes of that movement were Thurgood Marshall and Charles Hamilton Houston and Constance Baker Motley. They were the lawyers who took the passion from the streets to the courtrooms to fight for equality and justice. And so I thought, okay, that's what I want to do.
So I'm 10 years old, and my parents always tell me that if I stay focused, work hard, and follow my passion, I can do whatever I want to do in life. All of the knowledge that you know now, what would you say to your 10-year-old self about pursuing your dreams?
Don't you hear no, that it can't be done, or nobody like you has done it, or oh, you're too young, or oh, they're not ready for you? Don't hear no, because you know my saying? I eat no for breakfast.
What would you say to the American people with all of this misinformation and controversies going on about rigged elections? What would you say to the American people out there that are not planning on going to the polls next year because they believe their vote doesn't count?
And that is such a good topic to raise. Your vote is your voice, and it's the way that we uphold our system of democracy, which is very special, but it's fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
What advice do you have to the kids that want to grow up and be president or vice president?
Follow your passion, because all said and done, if you are fortunate enough, you are gonna work very hard, and when you do the work that you enjoy doing, you do it well, and all the other things come.
Thank you so much for talking to me, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Isn't he precious? Aww.
Wow, that was captivating. Now, what can we learn from this encounter? One, we can learn that the media or the press remains an indisputable basic element of democracy. Western countries seem to revere their press more than us, African countries, especially Nigeria. During the End SARS and End Bad Governance protest, we saw videos of raw attack against the press. Let's have a look.
Let them bring it down. You were pushing against me. Step back. Step back from me. Just come down. I'll drop my hand when you step back. Step back from me. Let go of it. Let go of it. Let go of it. Let go of
Those scenes were really preposterous. The child journalist who conversed with Harris should be an inspiration to Nigeria and African countries. He should be an inspiration to Nigerian political office aspirants and candidates who usually evade presidential debates or any kind of debates. And finally, he should be an inspiration to our young Nigerians who have lost all hope and think they cannot realize their destinies, endowments, and potentials. Now, away from this to France, where officials of the Nigerian embassy in the country alerted security operatives over a report of juju, otherwise known as juju, dropped at the threshold. A juju is a diabolical object commonly used in West African magic. The object looked strange, which puzzled the officials and the security operatives. Now look at the video.
Police over pot of juju dropped at the entrance.
I can say that that was really funny. Well, some people are asking, how was Juju able to get to France and bypass the immigration officials? Others are arguing that the culprit could be an individual who had passport issues with the embassy. So many opinions and comments. But my perspective on this is first, that Africans are quite a unique set of people. We have countless amazing talents and powers unknown to the white man. That's why during colonization, colonial lords such as the British stole many of our artifacts and idols. They did that because they yearned to know the natural and supernatural powers contained in these objects. However, I need to emphasize that Africans have not quite utilized their potentials for the common good, unlike the white man. For example, in many African countries, a person would prefer to use his cultural talent to harm his neighbor instead of putting it to good account. That's really bad. This video challenges us Africans to think out of the box and catch up with the technological age. I believe Africans have inborn capacities which have yet to be uncovered. Now, let's move to Turkey, where dozens of lawmakers have exchanged blows in the country's parliament on Friday as they debated a jailed opposition member who was stripped of his parliamentary immunity this year. At least 2 lawmakers were injured in the fight that lasted for about 30 minutes and which the hearing had to be suspended. Let's watch the video. What a humorous scene. A house of law, debate, and deliberations is now turned to a fighting, wrestling context. Anyway, let's move to Nigeria. The good work of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has continued to speak for him, as the Crisis Care College, Onitsha, has just produced over 60 candidates who scored distinctions in all 9 subjects in the West African Senior School Certificate Examination. The college registered 131 students for the exam. The mathematics results were particularly impressive, with 128 candidates earning A1 grades and the remaining 3 scoring Bs. In the sciences, 101 candidates took both physics and chemistry, with 85 earning A1 in physics and 94 in chemistry. Recall that earlier this year, CKC represented Nigeria in a global competition known as World Affairs Challenge, held in the United States. In the competition, CKC emerged as the overall champion, beating the other countries, including the United States. Take a look.
Thank you very much. My name is Reverend Father Dr. Celestine Okafor. I am the principal and manager of Christ the King College, Onitsha, in eastern part of Nigeria. My students could not come because somehow they couldn't get visa. However, our project dealt on climate change and protection of the environment. We come from a part of the world where food insecurity is an issue. So when the environment is not protected, and when the land is not managed, and when issues about climate change is not on the front burner of discussions in regular classrooms, my students decided to use hand-drawn comics to create awareness among their peers. So that is what you are trying to see. This is only an update. This is not the real project. If you want to see the project, you can go to the website. I can leave it with, yes. You can go to the website and you can read our project because it is live on the website today. We launched it today. And the stories are meant to educate the young people to understand that unless we protect the environment, we all will die. And then these hand-drawn comics, we are...
Fabulous. That was fabulous. Now, all this is the handiwork of our governor, Peter Obi. When Obi was governor of Anambra State, he made education one of his topmost priorities. In essence, he renovated schools, procured buses for them, provided computers and other educational facilities, and then had constant interaction with the management of the schools and the students. Today, we still marvel at Obi's long-lasting, durable input into the education of the young ones in Anambra State. Away from that, but still on Peter Obi, Obi has remarked on the recent seizure of the 3 jets belonging to Nigeria by a French court. It is common knowledge that China has confiscated 3 Nigerian presidential jets over the debt owed by Ogun State government. Ogun State government is owing a Chinese company known as Chongqing, sorry for mispronunciation, a sum of $74.5 million and is unable to pay the debt. Now, let me blow your mind. The confiscated jets include the newly purchased 150 billion naira luxury Airbus A330 that Nigerians had been begging him, the president, to discard because of hunger and insecurity. The president, in defiance of people's demands, proceeded to purchase these jets. And now it is damn funny and sad that the jet has not been delivered, and yet it is seized. Well, Peter Obi has commented on it. Guess what he said? An international embarrassment, that was. Now, Obi has always emphasized the need for the government to maximally resolve the issue of debt by 2 ways: do away with frivolities and unnecessary costs in governance, and then imbibe the culture of saving. But the life of government is double standard. Tinubu's government tells us that he inherited an empty treasury from Buhari's administration, but it keeps lavishing money on inconsequential items, things that do not directly affect the welfare of the people. What a shame. Now let me show you a picture. Look at this picture showing two vehicles. The one on the left is a Mercedes-Benz, which the past presidents of Nigeria made use of in their own time. Yar'Adua used it, Goodluck Jonathan used it, and Buhari also traveled in it. But when the current president, Tinubu, stepped into power, he decided to use the hungry taxpayers' money to purchase a Cadillac Escalade. Do you see how insensitive and obnoxious government actions could be? And so, Peter Obi has given an apt description of this event. An international embarrassment that was. Now, let me enlighten you more on this. Imagine you are a landlord. You own a car and a fancy vehicle, and you also purchase fanciful clothes every month. By implication, people perceive you as wealthy. Indeed, you are wealthy. But all of a sudden, people discover that you are unable to pay a debt you owe, and you have got no job or no work at all. Whether you like it or not, that's what Nigeria could be likened to at the moment. Yes, a rich country with a poor population and huge amounts of debt, no production, no investment, yet our political landlords are living in opulence and profligacy. What a shame, Nigeria. What a shame. Now, on a very sad note, as Nigerians continue to dread insecurity, we have learned that suspected Fulani ruffians have invaded a school of health at Oji River in Enugu State. Reports say that the Fulani killers abducted dozens of students, leaving the locality desolate and residents in panic. Let's watch the video.
On a school of health, I'm
talking to you now. Everybody is inside you. I'm the only surviving person. School of health. But I cheat. I get 47. My one passion. My fight. One part. Now school of health. Who's on school of health? Close to main road.
Got report on a station. Ghana station. When I report to go.
So I told us at a hospital.
Ghana call me.
Everybody only me.
Ghana call me.
I think not this child be safe. I'm just saying no.
But then when I am moto, or may escape, or that same will escape.
They can take them now. Sorry, the honey. So I think they left this one now. Hello? Oh, we one guy walk at the okay. Oh my God.
I'm the guy come. I heard a farmer go Okada. Where you?
Did they show you wife? Show you wife. Thank you. Yes.
Oh my.
I don't know.
Abu Herbe. Yeah, but Maka has to an issue now.
Here.
Now they shot the harassing gun.
I think matched with that.
It was a matched count, I saw. No?
What a sad situation we have there. That the government has continuously failed woefully in its primary responsibility, which is to protect lives and property. Enugu State, Benue State, and some parts of the Middle Belt have been battling with the killer herdsmen for donkey's years. But the government has not swung into concrete actions to address this bestiality. Look at the school of health. No fence, no gates, no protection. Everywhere is porous. Everyone is vulnerable. No one is safe. President Tinubu's government is an absolute failure. Anyway, viewers, that's all I've had for you on this edition of the Gist Villa. Hope you join me next time as we explore exciting and fabulous news around the world. Thank you.